And today, I would like to talk about religion,
Hmm.
which is the most controversial topic available on planet Earth.
Yes.
And when you think about it, everything revolves around it
Hmm.
because people go to war
Hmm.
over religion.
That's right.
People, you know, create unbelievable emotional stress over religion, and
Yes.
it reaches at a what I would call a fundamentally intrinsic level, which includes both the macro and the micro. So nations go to war over religion, and
Hmm.
families go to war over religion. So it
Hmm.
reaches into the personal, it reaches into the family, it reaches into the spiritual level of husbands and wives even.
Hmm.
So that's the problem. How can we have such a powerful force in our society without examining it objectively?
That's $1 million question.
Wouldn't it be a very good idea to examine something like that objectively without just being a parrot or a repetitor of some religious doctrine, depending on whichever religion you happen to be in, depending on whichever country or society you happen to be in, or ethnic group, because it doesn't matter if what country you live in, because you might have carried your religion with you when you emigrated.
That's right.
So, isn't it very important to kind of like examine this? And what are the forces at play that prevent you or encourage you from examining this belief system, which is so powerful? Let's start.
Well, I,
Let's start.
yeah, go ahead.
Please interject anytime you want.
Sure. You
But
go ahead.
let's start. Uh, what is the basis of all religion? The basis of all religion is spiritual evolution, is it not?
Hmm.
Aren't we supposed to be growing, getting better, somehow becoming higher, somehow realizing something that we don't know already? And isn't this higher knowledge giving us answers and giving us guidance as to how to lead our lives better?
Hmm.
Isn't there something in a religion that's designed to help us? Now,
Supposedly so, yes.
can we agree? Can we agree that all religions, no matter what they are, promise this, that they will help us? They will help make our
Uh,
lives easier, less stressful, maybe even more luxurious and comfortable.
yes. I
And
agree, yes.
would you agree with that? And
I
also,
would, yes.
yeah, would you agree that it's not just physical comfort and physical, uh, uh, you know, um, wealth and luxury that a religion offers, but a somehow uh, a supra physical spiritual uh, help going
Hmm.
beyond your life. In other words,
Yes.
when you die, you're still going to get something.
Hmm.
You're going to get something, and some people call it salvation.
Yes.
Some people call it liberation.
Hmm.
Some religions
Uh,
call it, well, there's so many. I mean, I'm lost
hmm.
for words.
Hmm.
Enlightenment, perhaps?
Yes. To some, it's a form of enlightenment.
Mm-hmm.
To the others who are more towards a materialistic point of view,
Right?
it's a rewarding system.
It is.
Hmm.
Can we put a word on religion and that covers it all? It's a promise.
Right.
It's a promise to relieve some sort of pain or stress or discomfort or lack in your life. That's what a
Hmm.
religion is.
Yep. It's
So
a
it yeah.
promise of a
Mm-hmm.
better future. It's a
Okay.
promise to get to a better place.
Uh huh.
Uh, overall, it's a promise that would lead the mortal humankind,
Uh-huh.
both physical and spiritual, supposedly to a much better place.
Right.
It's a promise.
And these promises have been delivered to us for how long?
Thousands, if not tens of thousands of years.
And have those promises been delivered?
In my humble opinion, the answer is no, not yet.
Well, then why the fuck are we still believing them?
That's $1 million question.
There's something fundamentally wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
We've been promised all of this salvation, liberation, enlightenment, etc., for God knows how many thousands of years, but it has not been provided.
Correct.
Because it obviously hasn't been provided to our satisfaction, otherwise we wouldn't still need religion, would we?
True.
So what the hell is going on? And by the way, what is hell?
That's a good point.
In other words,
It's I
Go.
personally, based on my personal journey and study of various different kinds of religions within the humankind,
Yes.
it leads me to believe that hell is also a concept
Mm-hmm.
invented by humankind
Mm-hmm.
as part of the rewarding system.
And okay, can you explain further?
The rewarding system promise good people who does good deeds, following certain rules.
Yes.
You will go to heaven. But if you do the polar opposite things, then you will end up going to hell.
Okay. So you're
The
talking.
concept of
Yeah.
heaven and hell is a polarity, is a zeros and ones.
Yes.
It's a negative and a positive.
Okay. But both of those concepts are not now. They're in the future, correct?
That's right.
So it's all same a promise.
That's right. It's a promise.
Uh-huh. So heaven
Yes.
and is a promise, and hell is also a promise.
That's right.
So what does that have to do with now? How does that help us today? It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It's just a promise. Both
Right.
are just a chimera,
Yep.
a conceptual dream
That's right.
that's not real now and doesn't affect us today, because it's all about what happens after you're dead.
That's right.
So I'm not going to swear anymore, but what does that have to do with helping us today? It doesn't.
It doesn't.
So it's just a artificial construct,
It is.
which does not have any basis in reality. It only has a basis in a promise of a future reality, which does not exist at this time, and which you can never validify because you'll be dead before you ever get to taste it.
That's right.
So, can you conceive of a more artificially confusing and confabulating and chimera creating concept as religion? No, you cannot.
No.
Religion is the most complete propaganda system ever devised to keep
Mm-hmm.
the human in the dark and to
Yes.
keep the human in the ignorance and to keep
True.
the human in the hope for something which they can never realize because you have to be dead to taste it.
That's right.
So obviously we have to free ourselves from religion. It doesn't matter which they are.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter the names attached.
Yes.
In order to achieve true liberation, in order to achieve true knowledge, in order to achieve true freedom,
Mm-hmm.
we have to stop believing in these things, which these ideologies, which are doing nothing but keeping us in the dark.
That's right.
Have I convinced you? Have I convinced you that all religion is designed to keep us in the dark?
No, no, no. I have that. Um, I gained that understanding quite some time ago.
Okay, so it wasn't just me. You knew it before.
I came from various different. Well, let's just say that I do not rigidly follow any organized religions on planet Earth,
Okay.
citing that I have been through various different religious experiences throughout my schooling years,
Mm-hmm.
from Catholicism to Islam, Christianity to
Yes.
Buddhism, and so on.
Yes.
So while I may not be to the advanced level like a pastor
Yes.
or Islamic clergyman
Uh-huh.
when it comes to the understanding of their religion, but nevertheless, I have been exposed to these religions for many, many years, and I have a fundamental understanding of it.
How does it make you feel?
Uh, if we, well, from a from an overall generalized perception, I would say that fundamentally speaking, all these religions preached humanity, preached loving and respect and dignity in the most fundamental basis. However, it is also deemed very extremely vulnerable to the way it's being interpreted.
Did these religions require you to find salvation or spiritual enlightenment through the figureheads of the religion, or the preachers, or the mullahs, or the vicars, or the
Mhm.
you know the various individuals? Did they always ask you to give your uh, shall we say, your supplication to them
Mhm.
so that they could be a conduit to the divine?
More or less so, yes.
And why is that?
That is an interesting question.
Was there a reason for that? Was there an explanation for
Um,
why that was be necessary? Why?
my personal take is that it is not, it's deemed unnecessary. However,
Uh huh.
as I said moments ago,
Mm-hmm.
all these religions are the the difference are that they are based on the way these clergymen, these religious
Yes.
leaders,
Yes.
and how they would interpret them
Uh
to
huh.
you.
Okay.
Okay.
Now let's get this straight.
Yes.
There's two ways here. I can
Mm-hmm.
actually, let's say I want to
Mm-hmm.
learn English,
Mm-hmm.
and I can go to a
Mm-hmm.
teacher,
That's right.
all right? And the teacher can say, I have the power of English, and
That's
I
right.
have all the vocabulary in
Mm-hmm.
my mind, and I will give it to you,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And
That's right.
therefore, you will learn English that way,
Mm-hmm.
all right? And there's the other way. And the other way is that I will give you the ability to understand English and
Right.
know its structure and its internal constructs.
That's
And
right.
and then you can actually read a book and learn English on your own.
Mm-hmm.
So one is helping, and the other is constricting.
That's right.
In other words, you can only learn English if you follow me, and the other one is
Right.
I'm teaching you the key to study English on your own.
That's right.
Now, how many religions tell you that you can find God or the divine or the source through yourself with guidance from a higher priest who only has more experience, who only has more knowledge, and is passing that down to you as a form of education, so that you can therefore find the divine or the guidance of the eternal, spirit of the universe, or whatever you want to use terminology here.
Hmm.
How many say that, or how many say you have to bow down before me because I am the one who's going to tell you what to believe, who to believe, how to believe, and it's only through me that you can reach God.
Well, I must say though, of all the religions I have touched on, so far only Buddhism is the one that you can, they do not specify you
Yes,
to kneel down,
yes,
look up, and look up to another religious
yes.
figureheads to seek enlightenment.
Because they say you should become the Buddha.
That's right.
You should become enlightened.
That is indeed the
And
case.
you can be under the yum yum tree for however long it takes through introspection to find the cosmos and the infinite within yourself.
That's right. And all if not many of the remainder of the organized religions, they all rely on some form of a figurehead for the ordinary folks to look forward to.
So, in other words, Buddha is not a figurehead. He's just an example.
Yes, Buddhists, in the simplest terms, represents enlightenment.
Just like a
It does
teacher,
not, yes,
just like a
it
teacher
too
shows the
has,
way.
that's right, it too has been erroneously injected with the human elements that would sometimes lead to confusion
Yes,
and much heated debate, just like many, many other forms of organized religion. For example,
yes,
uh, Prophet Muhammad in the religion of Islam
mm-hmm,
is supposedly cannot be cannot be written or shaped and formed into human terms,
uh-huh,
according to their religion.
yes,
Buddhism is all about a matter of achieving higher forms of enlightenment,
yes,
or shall I say, nirvana eventually.
mm-hmm,
But as time went by, they too suffer from the same kind of mistreatment
mm-hmm,
because people who tries to get into the religion of Buddhism,
yes.
they too start shaping idols to worship.
What is an idol to worship? How is that different from finding God within yourself? Isn't it the same as religion? An idol to worship is something outside of yourself, correct?
Correct.
So an
I
idol
I think
is
idol
nothing.
worshiping
An
has
idol,
been
I'll let you talk in a sec, but an idol, to my mind, is nothing different than a preacher or a
That's right.
religious leader who is saying that you have to go through me. You have to go
Right.
through me. You
That's right.
can't do it by yourself. You can't evolve on your own. And an idol is just another focal point outside of yourself.
Correct. Correct.
But it's visible, and it might be made out of
Yes.
gold. It might be made out of gold, so we can all get around it and circle it like a campfire, and we can all put our energy on it. But it's misplaced. It's
That's
misplaced
right.
energy, and
That's
it's a
right.
phantasm. An illusion, and
It
it takes us
is.
away as a kind of trick. The
Yes.
trickster. The trickster is alive when you're looking at idols and when you're looking at priests who say that you can only find the divine, or you can only find enlightenment, or you can only find spiritual evolution through them, which is
That's right.
absolutely nonsense.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Is
let's get back to war. War is where you have one trickster and their acolytes and their followers against another trickster and their
correct.
acolytes and followers. And they say,
Correct.
oh, trickster number one is the enemy of trickster number two, and we have to fight to the death and destroy that number one guy. And we'll call it, let's maybe call it Catholic against Protestant or
Hmm.
whatever, doesn't matter. As long as you
Hmm.
have enough
Hmm.
enough people believing in one or the other, we can set up a dualistic conflict.
Hmm. Hmm. Yep. I realized that fallacy uh, a long time ago during my younger years. For example,
Yes,
when studying Bible, the Old Testaments oftentimes reflect on certain wars between neighboring tribes.
yes.
Okay, while I may not be able to cite the
Don't worry about it.
specifics
Don't worry
of the
about it.
tribes, the fact of the matter
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the true irony came into play when you realize that the one that attacks the other, okay,
Yes,
before, like tribe A and tribe B,
yes.
before tribe A marches on and start attacking tribe B, they
Mm-hmm.
would, pray their God for triumphant return, for winning the
Yes,
war, for killing the enemies,
yes.
making sure they're dead as a
Dead
stone,
as doornails.
bloodsheds and dead as doornails, and all the bloodsheds and so on.
Yep.
Meanwhile, same thing is happening to the same tribes, but the opposite tribes, tribe B. They would do the same thing, drink toast, and pray
What a
their own
ping
god
pong game.
to attack the other tribe
What a
with
ping pong
bloodshed. And
game.
that's right. But what if they are both on the same understanding of the same God?
Uh-huh.
Hasn't the religion stipulates that God is almighty, God is all
Uh-huh.
foreseeing,
Uh-huh.
God is kind to humankind, and God shall be responding to your calls when you pray for them?
Uh-huh.
Then why is tribe A praying for the death of tribe B,
Yes.
killing the bloodshed,
Yes.
whereas tribe B doing this exactly the same thing
Mm-hmm.
towards tribe A?
Okay. Would
So
you?
if you're
Yes.
in a God position,
Yes.
who are you going to respond to? Are you
Okay.
going to favor tribe A and kill tribe B? Or are you going to kill tribe B and respond to tribe A?
Well, obviously the lunacy and the
Yes.
complete ironic ridiculousness
Hmm.
of these
Hmm.
kinds of situations, which have repeated again and again in human history,
That's right. That's right. That's
reveal
right.
the truth. And the truth is that neither of these dichotomies
That's
of
right.
tribe A up against tribe B have anything to do with spiritual connection with the divine or source, because they are both religions, and those
Precisely, yes.
religions are nothing more than artificial mental constructs based on polarities
Hmm.
to do with negative and positive
That's right.
energies against
That's
each
right.
other, which do nothing more than to create destruction. Because
That's right.
there's two ways to create energy. One
Hmm.
is negative and positive to create. I would say, uh, uh, positive or constructive energies, and the other is to create negative energies, because
That's right.
you've got negative and positive, right? So you can have war or you can have peace. You can have
That's right.
love or you can have death.
Hmm.
And I'm sorry, I'm breaking up here a little bit logically, but the point is that what you're talking about is religion.
That's
And
right.
as we said earlier, religion is an artificial construct designed to create conflict and negative results.
Correct.
Whereas none of that would be necessary if the
Correct.
humans involved realized that they were all the same. They're all the same
That's right.
race. They're all the
That's
same
right.
people. They're all the same soul. They're all
Hmm.
created by God. They all have
Hmm.
universal, eternal energy within them, and they don't need to fight each other in order to survive, in order to
Correct.
evolve, in order to become the greatest things in the universe. None of that is necessary, and the wars and the conflicts are the result of being tricked.
That's right. Humankind throughout many, many millenniums have been unnecessarily involved in all these bloodsheds and wars,
Yes,
all in the name of religion.
and that religion is a toxic mechanism for destruction and death, and it could even be releasing loosh, which is a very dark energy,
Energy, yes.
which could be for the benefit of dark beings.
That's right.
Stop.
Stop. Awesome.